Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Okay, to configure the routing protocol OSPF, we will start by connecting routers with serial ports, and we connect these computers. Normally, to connect computer to a router, which cable we use? Crossover from fast Ethernet of the computer to gigabit 01 or 00 in the topology to gigabit 00 for 3 computers. Then we have to rename this computer PCA, PCB, and PCC. Then we have to rename this routers, router 1, router 2, and R3, router 3. To connect routers, we use the serial DCE. But normally, if I have interfaces, serial interfaces, I can connect them. Here we don't have for this new router. We go to add port, serial ports for each router. By clicking on the router, then power off your router, and here we have in modules the second one, HWIC2T, this the serial card. I add it to the right slot, then power on the router, do it for other routers, power of the router, add the serial card, power on, and the third router, R3. Now we use the serial DCE cable to connect this router. From this topology, we have the DCE that contains the clock rate from the side of router 1 in serial port 000. Then another DCE between router 2 and router 3, and the serial port is 001 and router 2. And the connection between router 3 and router 1, the DCE is from the side of router 3 and the serial port S000. From router 1 in the serial port 001 to router 2 in the serial 000. Yes, 000, sorry, from the router 1 in serial 0000 to serial 000 in router 2. And here we have the clock rate from the side of router 1 in the serial port 000. To connect router 2 to router 3, from serial 0001 to serial 001 in router 3, and the clock rate from the side of the serial port of router 2. And the last one between router 1 and router 3, but the DCE is from the side of router 3. Here, suppose here we use the DTE cable. If we use the DTE cable, you will start the connection from router 1, 001 to router 3, serial 00. You have the clock rate from this side, from router 3. Or use the DCE, but start the connection from router 3 and go to router 1. Okay? Now we have to add console ports, console cables to configure, to use the CLI or the terminal to configure these routers from RS232 in router computer PCA to console port in router 1. The same for router 2 from console port to PCB port RS232, and for router 3 from the console port to PCC RS232. Now I have this topology and I will start the configuration. The first step to configure, here we have the addressing table. The first step, cable the network, initialize and reload routers. This if I work with real routers, real devices. Configure basic setting. We have to configure the server's name, device name, sorry, showing us the topology. Assign class like privilege exact password. Assign Cisco as a console and VTY password. Then we have to configure the message of the day method banner message. This is a message that we display when you will access from the beginning to the router. We will do this command to assign this message, and then we have to configure IP addresses, clock rates for DCE interfaces, and we have to copy the running configuration. We start with these steps. For PCA, we go to desktop, terminal, okay, here we put no, and we'll start our configuration. We have this the privilege mode. If you see here, when we press enter, we don't see any message. When we configure the method message, the method banner message, you will see a message when you press enter in this level here. You will see a message. Okay, this the user mode. We will go to privilege exec mode with the command enable configure terminal to access to terminal configuration mode. Then we have to rename the switch, the router, sorry, host name R1. Then we configure passwords. We start with the privilege, user exec privilege password, here enable secret, and this password is class. Then the line console 0 password Cisco, login to activate this password. Then line VTY 04 for routers, and password Cisco, and login to activate this password. Then I exit from this line configuration to go back to the configuration mode configuration. Here we have to encrypt this password using the command service password encryption. Here we will configure the banner method message. Banner method message. Here we will use the dash, and we will put the message, for example, hello CCSIT, and we close the message. Banner method hashtag hello, for example, CCSIT, and you close this message. If you don't put the last hashtag, it will continue to ask you to close it. And if you put any command there, this should be included in the message. Okay. Now we have to configure the interfaces, gigabit interface and interfaces. Okay. we will start by configuring the gigabit interfaces with the command interface gigabit 00. For each interface, we will assign an IP address, then activate these interfaces. IP address, normally we have our addressing table. Take care for IPs for your addressing table to have the right IP address. And for each interface we have the subnet mask and the IP address. For router, for router 1 we have the IP address for gigabit 00 192.168.1.1. This represents the default gateway normally for this network, and the subnet mask 255.255.0. Then now shut down. Then we have another interface, serial. I put INT like abbreviation for interface, S0/0/0. This is the serial interface. The IP address for this interface 192.168.12.1, and the subnet mask 255.255.250. To 52, and here we have to assign the clock rate. Clock rate CLO. The value here we have the value 128,000.